Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
Oh, this is Lewis.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
So his is made out of boats.
Yep.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Kind of psychedelic stuff, huh?
Well, he's got a legalized marijuana thing and a hookah. So go figure. Dude sought chemical assistance to dealing with the trauma. Cute little sitting areas. I would be scared shitless of living here. I would not be okay with this. But it's fine in this context. Okay, I don't know how long this game is, so I'm not even going to bother with episodes anymore. I guess we're already well past
Lewis's
that
room
point.
smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
So you had a snooze.
So there's a game system.
A Wonderland Turbo.
With a crane or a heron as its logo?
Neat. VCR. Diploma. Nice TV and a mini fridge.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
They really like those pillow designs, though. I think I've seen it repeated a couple times.
I would love to do
There's
this.
the castle.
By the way, I would love to have a like some black lights with art that specifically shines in it. Did I ever show you my artwork from
the thing is
from college?
Whenever you did that artwork, it was especially the whites that tended to
the whites and the oranges and a couple other colors. But I would love to actually put some effort into figuring out how to make certain paintings and art of mine pop with a black light and actually have some like neat black lights to turn on in my office or something.
I mean, currently you have not quite black lights, but you have some Philips Hue lights, and it's interesting because you have a green screen, and if you turn the right colors on, it makes all the greens look orange.
Yeah, it's super weird.
So we have a kind of like a yoga ball. He has his
one heck of a computer, a lot
gaming setup.
Yeah, a lot of pipes.
Are those more knights or?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like a spearman, and then there's someone on the right side.
1 second. All right, I don't think there's anything else.
Oh, what are those? Are those games? No. Over there on the.
These books, Oliver Twist. Trust me.
Huh.
Wuthering Heights, Through the Looking Glass, Red King's Dream.
What are the VHSs?
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
I can relate. Cannery.
Locker contents. Locker as in from the cannery?
Locker at work.
Institute of Psychology,
Dear
though.
Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
What did he grab? Is that him? It looks like a person. Can you grab it?
wander.
Oh, he's
I
playing
asked
a
him
game.
to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Ooh, dragon.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head,
Hope he's not going to get too distracted.
but he took it very seriously.
Right.
I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
2D to 3D.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
It's taking over more of the screen.
It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was
I do have the music turned back on, yeah?
always
I do,
humming
weird.
something.
I feel like there should be music here.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Of course,
He
they
no
have a
longer
fish.
spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Oh no.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Did he
In
just get
Louisburg,
lost?
he heard rumors of a
Beautiful prince. Why not? I like the beautiful prince's beard.
beautiful prince.
Oh, it's the brother.
Maybe? I don't know.
With all the paint?
I don't know.
If he went the other way, it would have been the sister.
Potentially.
The prince was on his own quest for
Radiant rainbows or a sinister serpent? Radiant rainbows?
radiant rainbows.
That we killed?
Keep going through them. You're not going through any of
I
them. Or you're not
Can't steer
controlling
this
it.
boat very well.
He followed the sound of his
Electric sitar or the
Oh,
silver
hell
harp?
yeah.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
I know that story.
Even then, his logic remained sound.
You don't even know where the chopper
He
is
knew the
anymore.
world was all in his imagination.
All the
But he was
fish
so
hooks.
proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
So this is the factory, perhaps? Yep, the cannery. Wait, what is all the blood on the floor from the fish? I assume?
Possibly. I mean, they've been chopping heads all the time, go figure.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be clean.
Ah, that's his locker.
With his
The Imperial Palace, that's the only...
Nintendo SS
Mhm.
single screen.
But yeah, that's the only place that would actually deliver
Yep.
to them. The
Pipe,
Chinese restaurant.
Chinese food, some other stuff, his usual.
His posters.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Wait, why are fish going back into the water?
I don't know.
I don't think this is how a cannery works.
Nope. But I also have no idea. Yeah,
Is
this
that
must-
him?
Yeah,
He
that's
began
him.
to despise the man with a royal contempt.
He's not even doing it anymore.
I
you
still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh, what's in the stained glass? The ship. What's he holding in his hand? A mirror or
Including the
something?
wise
I think
Calico
it's the
who'd
staff.
insisted on advising him.
A calico?
Maury. Or Molly, the cat.
Oh,
You know, the
Mhm.
aunt? Or great aunt?
right. As the cat.
His prince
you-
waited, holding his crown.
Do you think he threw himself into a machine at work or something?
But look, it's a guillotine, isn't it?
There was only one thing left to do.
Oh.
Because look at that. To give him his crown. But it's a
Yep.
guillotine. Just like all the fish.
Bend down his head.
Oh, and that's why he has the crown on his gravestone, too.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
If that just
And then that's why they left.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
is this Dawn's room?
Yeah.
Is all the
no,
missing-
no. This is Edith's room.
Wait, this is Edith's?
I think so. Or no, this could be Dawn's room. Missing. Yeah, this is Dawn's
But
kind
I
of living
understand why
area.
we left.
I mean, that says Edith up there.
Yeah,
Dawn
Finch.
Finch.
I think Edith
Kitchen.
lives above in the very top.
Mm-hmm.
There's a filter up here. The hell does any of this house still stand packing peanuts by the gallon? And kind of like a
My
curtain
mom
separating
ended up
her
leaving
room out.
everything behind.
90th birthday.
But it's cracked.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dawn punched it or something. Somewhat blames Edie. The books she'd written, Orcus Publishing, Educational Supplies, Disaster Relief,
Yeah.
Sanjay. Yeah. I don't
What
know.
happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
And then Edith was only 11.
Mm-hmm. And she was all the way at the top.
But it had to end one way or another.
What
All
a
that's left
lovely
now
little
is to
room,
tell
though.
you about that last night.
In our forever home, I would love to have kind of
A reading nook.
a nook like this. I don't know if it'd have to be a reading nook. You know, maybe it could have a TV. Maybe it could even have kind of a setup so I could record but not commentate, but just kind of a disconnect place.
Look at that. So
There's all the
of the
soldiers and the people from Lewis's.
Wait, so there was the paper origami, but it was also downstairs too, with the shark and everything. So I wonder if she made them out of the books.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the drawing of her. She has these little,
The spaceman,
Mhm.
the grandmother's little figurines,
all the
or
words
origami birds.
being projected onto the ceiling.
Oh, that's neat.
Or letters, I should say. But yeah, the spearmen and the people from her brother's dreams. She has a tablet.
And a quill. More like a pen that just is a quill.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
To our final night together, and all our final nights apart.
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Ooh. But an old woman crawling through this?
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have
Wait,
the
wait.
nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Why is she blaming the stories? Or is it just
Well, remember how Edith was talking about specifically that believing in these stories might be part of the reason?
Oh, like believing in the curse, you mean?
Yeah.
But believing in the curse didn't make
But-
all of those accidents occur.
True. But that maybe the stories were cursed, that the mother was kind of hoping that somehow by shielding Edith.
I think what was more unhealthy was having all of these sealed doors and remnants
I mean,
of...
I think the whole family's coping mechanisms were unhealthy. Repression or coexist. I mean, you have to coexist with the pain, but not in the way that they did. What they did was almost in
Dear
direct
Edith,
contrast.
there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
So the tide went out because a tsunami was supposed to be
But I
coming?
never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
That's really
I got
dangerous.
turned around.
Oh no, what if the tide comes in?
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
Wait, the deer?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's going to be a shark flopping in the...
Or a cat.
Yeah,
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go. I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car and I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Oh.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Because of the wine? Or
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
I love doing this as a kid.
Hmm.
I should do it more often when we're out and about.
As long as you don't distract me.
A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
This is... Oh, wait a minute.
This journal was supposed to be for you.
This is the womb. Don't you hear the heart beating?
Yep.
Now I hope
this
you'll
is
never see it.
freaking me out.
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
Is
Did
this
she
the
die
birth
during-
I
canal?
guess if you're reading this now,
She died during
things
childbirth.
didn't work out that way.
You.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Yep. Died at 18 in childbirth.
Had a young boy.
After Outer Wilds. These are the credits, probably. But yeah, after Outer Wilds, everybody was like, hey, yeah, you should play this if you want another gut punch game. And here you go. I don't think I'm going to include this in any kind of, like, spooky game
No,
list.
this is...
I don't think it belongs. But, boy, I'm going to include it in some other list.
What childhood picture would you choose of yourself to go
Gosh,
into
I have
credits
no
like
idea.
this?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look through my childhood photos, even.
You always seem weirded out by them.
Yeah, kind of. I guess I get really bad. I feel very disconnected if I start seeing things from what they were, if that makes sense. Because I've got a good enough visual memory with stuff like that it puts me back a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah, objects do that for me. And maybe that's why this family held on to them and tried to keep them as they were.
Yeah.
To preserve them in some way.
Yeah. At the same time, boy, what an absolute just tragic series of everything.
I'm just kind of... And the thing is, everything wasn't outlandish.
No,
what
I think
happened
the
to
only
them.
thing I wish I had known was what was in that house that the grandmother had seen.
When the tide went out?
Yeah. But I think that's what we get as a post-credit scene.
Maybe.
I could be wrong, but... That's a baby. The way the shadows around the eyebrows, it really makes it look super intense. I feel like I broke the music. I don't know if it's supposed to be this quiet. Oh, that's
Must be a theme
that's
park.
Disney. That's Disney
Disney.
World, I think.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my family never really did a whole lot of kid pictures. Like, there are pictures of us, but we never really put them on display.
Yeah, we have just essentially boxes and boxes of pictures. But then again, when you have a Kodak employee as
Yeah.
you get a ton of film and cameras.
I really feel like I broke the music here. And I don't want to stop it, but it's so extra creepy.
Oh, there's the memorial service. Yeah, the end. Oh yeah, look, there's all the illustrations and everything.
Yeah, so we can play everybody's story. Interesting. I'm curious if there's anything else. Because I'm clearly missing half the...
Take both paths to the house. Catch 2 rabbits with only 2 swoops. So that's just the owl.
Clear the table. Play Kelvin's story again for some reason. Yeah, okay, so the achievements...
Oh, you never did play pool at the pool table.
I didn't even realize that we could. And it's fine. Either way, that was an absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking game. Oh no, the music was off.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. I don't remember why I had turned it off. Oops.
Wait, why are you pressing play?
I don't know.
Oh gosh. Wander!
No. No. Damn. I broke it. Broke it. And there we go. No. I broke everything. Alright, cool. Oh, well. If I do replay a story, can I do the credits? No. Like, we can get to the Edith one.
No, I just... That family. That poor family. But yeah, it just leaves so many questions, and I wonder if...
Like, I'm still super curious. What the heck happened to Milton, and what did Edie see in the house? Like, those two feel, like, actually important. Like, what was the rest of the thing that Edie had written for Edith?
Mm-hmm. I mean, did the son of Edith ever get to read it?
I don't know.
Or...
And maybe there was kind of the implication of Edie having the key to the library and then being able to get into the library. That's the only thing I can think of, but even then, I don't know. And, like, to some degree, if somebody wants to chime in, if there's any, like, secrets after the fact.
Oh, let's just...
I'm gonna check.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it looks like no one knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one knows what Edie's final message was. Which is a shame. But, you know what? I don't know. I think maybe it's fine. Maybe there's no greater mystery. Maybe it's just a family that truly had poor luck. You know, I got a letter from my grandmother recently talking about how abnormally lucky our family has been. That, save for one of my mother's cousins, every single person from my mom's side of the family lived to adulthood and, you know, is probably going to die of some old age related cause, or at least of some other cause in their old age, you know, having lived a long and fulfilling life. And I don't know. It's grim. The whole game feels strange and voyeuristic and uncomfortable. I think it's supposed to, but it feels tragic in and of itself. And one of my biggest problems with Outer Wilds was seeing all of these people with all of this potential, I guess.
And how it was all cut short?
Yeah, because, I mean, Walter was so broken by the death of his... Barbara, Calvin, Molly. You know, he locked himself away immediately after Calvin died. if my dates aren't.
Was it after
wrong.
Calvin, or
I
was
think it was after Calvin died.
I thought. Okay.
Oh, it was either after Calvin died or immediately after Barbara died, and he didn't know about Calvin dying. Or
Oh wait, didn't he say something that Edie hadn't told him
oh, you're right.
for
Edie-
10 years or something weird?
Well, no, because he was locked away for 30.
Oh, okay.
Like, and he died at 53.
Mm-hmm.
And he let himself out after 30 years. So, yeah, either he locked himself away right before Calvin died, or like immediately afterwards. And it could have been either, and I have no idea. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just, like, every single one of these people is just, could have been a person, could have been more. And that hits hard. Because they all seemed like vibrant and interesting people, and I realize they're fake. They're just an artifice made for the sake of a game to have more impact. And story notes and whatnot. But it's like...
What do you mean by an
well,
artifice?
It's
They're
like when
characters.
there are characters, but characters are an artifice.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they're an amalgamation of feelings and thoughts and ideas that other people have had, and potentially even experiences. But that, you know, it's...
I'm pretty sure people put pieces of their own family
Oh,
members
absolutely.
into them.
And you can project. You know, I absolutely have projected at least a couple of different people or relatives that I've known onto these characters, and kind of like, this person reminds me of this person.
Mm-hmm.
But I just...
Was it really only one person from each generation that really lived?
Correct?
Well, actually, I suppose Sam and Walter did, but Walter it was because he
didn't.
kept himself locked
Yeah.
away, so there was no
But,
chance.
I mean, effectively, as far as the world is concerned, he had died 30 years ago. His
Mhm.
corpse just showed up 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly fresh, as grim as that sounds. I don't know. I think this is the kind of game that I almost didn't need this year, but I'm glad I played it because it was so good.
What happened to Milton?
What happened to Milton? I don't know. I feel like there are two really big secrets on this game, or house, or story, or something.
You mean what Edie had written in the rest of that journal, and then about the island and
Yeah.
her experience on the island?
in Odin's old house, which, like, it seemed like it was inviting her in, which, like, there's something about that there. But then also, where did Milton go?
Mm-hmm.
Because he knew all of the secrets of the house, more so than anybody else, seemingly. Because every time you went through one of the secret passages, there was a drawing from Milton.
Mm-hmm.
But no Milton. No signs of where he had gone. I don't know. Either way,
Well, did he just go through a door that no one knew about
yeah, potentially.
and then just get trapped there or something?
Who knows? Probably. It's creepy, and, like, I wish I knew more. And I think that's the sign of a good story, but also a frustration for me, because I always hate it when I have a good story on my hands and that it ends 3 chapters too short, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. But also just so sad that Edith got pregnant so young and
Yeah.
died.
Yeah. And I've known a couple of people that have died young. And it's just like, you didn't even get to live. I mean, you got to. And I mean, childhood is a good time, I guess, but you never got to be your own person. You never got to figure out where you stand.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of the children, you saw the dreams and aspirations that they had.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just so very sad.
Yeah. But with all of that, I think I need to go play something a little chipper or something. I was going to go play horror games after this, and I don't think I'm going to be able to pull that off. So thank you all so much for watching. This was heartbreaking in a way, but good and worth it. I've heard people talk about how great this game is. And
Now we know why.
Now we know why.
Mm-hmm. This is not at all what I anticipated going into it. I knew it was going to be a mystery, but I didn't know it was on unraveling the fates of all the members of this
Yeah, I thought
tree.
it was going to be a little bit more like spooky supernatural mystery as opposed to just like, hey, by the way, be sad. And I'm like, yes, will do. Anyway, gosh, yeah, even Sam, the hunter, died at 33.
And that was because the
Buck had bucked him off.
Yeah, and Dawn, I assume it was cancer.
Yeah, probably. I don't
But-
know. Okay, I don't want to think about this game anymore right now. So, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. I don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully it won't be something as sad as this. And quick question at the end of this video. I moused over Dawn and Edie, and they have this kind of like weird mirroring thing going on.
But
But
none of
only
the other
those two.
characters.
I don't know what it is. I might look it up, but if I can't find anything, I don't know.
I mean, their stories might be interconnected in some way.
Yeah,
if you
maybe
replay them.
that's it. I guess it makes sense. Because I'm curious. I mean, I don't know. If there's a secret that we've missed, or multiple secrets that we've missed, please tell us how to find them, because I'd like to know. Anyway, with all that, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.